My name is Clayton Nailers, and I would like to take you through the 2021 growth season of my test plot. This is my second year doing this, and I am very thankful for this opportunity. I would like to start off by addressing the hybrids and the seed dealers who made this all possible. I would like to thank Muggy Seeds for a 106-day Smart Stacks DeKalb corn, a 109-day Smart Stacks DeKalb corn, a 2-1 Extend Flex soybean, a 2-5 Extend Flex soybean. I'd like to thank Matt McCarthy for a 105-day Double Pro Wiffles corn, a 107-day Double Pro Wiffles corn, a 1-9 Stein Enlist soybean, a 2-4 Stein Enlist soybean. I would like to thank Christine for a 103-day Golden Harvest corn, a 107-day Golden Harvest corn, a 2-0 Extend soybean, and a 2-3 Maturity Extend soybean. I would like to thank Gary Sunblad of C&H Seeds for a 103-day Smart Stacks channel corn, a 105-day Tricepta channel corn, a 2-3 Maturity Extend Flex soybean, and a 2-5 Maturity Extend Flex soybean. I would like to thank Mark Burtness for a 102-day Chrome Pioneer, 104-day Chrome Pioneer corn, a 2-2 Enlist Pioneer soybean, and a 2-6 Maturity Pioneer Enlist soybean. So this year's test plot actually started work in the fall of 2020. I had compaction issues last year, so Matt McCarthy generously let me use his inline ripper to help break up compaction. Last fall, we also strip-tilled the test plot, adding 60 pounds of K and a rye cover crop. There are many benefits to cover crops, but some are keeping the soil in place, adding organic matter, reducing nitrate runoff, and many others. For more information, make sure to contact your local NRCS office. So fast forward a few months, and that takes you to the spring of 2021. Here we are strip-tilling the test plot again to provide a perfect seed bed for the corn and adding the nitrogen in the form of urea. Here you can see the urea and the soil mixed together. We also strip-tilled what was going to be soybeans to provide them the best possible seed bed. We did not put down any fertilizer in this pass. The big day was finally here. I was able to plant 11 different hybrids, including the end rows, over 5.4 acres total. The corn was planted at 34,000 kernels per acre and at about 2 inches deep. The corn was planted in moisture. The story this spring was to try and get the seed into moisture so it could grow. As you could see, it was dry. The dust is flying. I dumped the seed into the mini hoppers so they didn't run through the central fill system. In between each hybrid, we sucked out the seed in the meters to make sure there was nothing left over for the next hybrid to be planted. The corn burn down was sprayed 3 days after to kill the rye cover crop and to keep any new weeds from emerging. May 7th, Mr. Colmus, our ag teacher, took some of the crop production kids out to my test plot to figure out seed depths, find the planting population, and to look for weeds. Thankfully, we did not find any weeds, which is a good problem to have, except for volunteer soybeans. We did start to see some pioneer corn poke through the ground at this time though. After school that day, also on May 7th, was the big day to plant the soybeans. There were 11 different soybean hybrids planted across 4.6 acres. The soybeans were planted at 140,000 population at a depth of also 2 inches. We had not caught any rains between these two plantings and we're still hunting for moisture. May 11th is when the corn plant started to emerge. The coleoptile pokes through, which is the first part of the plant to come out of the ground. Out of all the hybrids out here, the Pioneer P022OQ was the first to emerge and most uniform to emerge again, which was the same as last year. At this time, the soybeans had not emerged yet, but they had imbibed water and the radicle had grown down. Also for this year, I got a free precision planting flagging kit to mark my emergence on a couple of the hybrids. Now this is not hybrid specific, this is just kind of a planter test to see how well of a job that the planter did. By May 18th in the soybeans, the hypocotyl was growing and getting ready to push the cotyledon through the soil. We saw similar results in emergence for the corn as last year, as both the Pioneer and Whiffles numbers were the first to emerge and the largest to start. About a week later, on May 18th, after I marked the original Day 1 flags, I came back and marked the Day 4 flags, which means they hadn't emerged in the first 3 days. As you can see, most of the plants emerged on Day 1 and Day 2, but there were a few stragglers. May 21st was the day that the soybeans were starting to pop out of the ground. And as all these pictures are going by, feel free to pause it and take a closer look at any of the hybrids if necessary. June 3rd is when the post spray was sprayed on the corn. By June 16th, the corn had really shot up and grown a lot. By now it was probably in about the V4, V5 stage. The soybeans had also grown a lot, but as you can see, we're not quite flowering yet. Also, the post pass for spraying that the beans got was just Roundup, because the Pioneer and Stein beans are Enlist this year, and the Golden Harvest are Roundup, and the Channel and Asgrow are Extend Flex. I also walked the field like 3 times. As I have the drone flying up in the air, I figured I could take this time to talk to you about some of the growing differences between corn and soybeans. Corn is a determinate plant, which means that it grows all of its vegetative growth and then starts to reproduce and put on the ears, while soybeans are an indeterminate plant. That means that while they're growing vegetatively, or their leaves, they're also putting on pods at the same time. Another note is that you could see the grass in the middle was very dry, and at this point in the year we were really lacking moisture and needed some rain. On June 24th, Nolan from Muggy Seeds came out and we looked at some of the plants that were growing. This picture you can see that we found the tassel beginning to form in the corn. One of the big topics at this time was corn rootworm, and this year it was really bad because usually the rain flushes them out and makes it so they drown basically and can't eat the plant. And since we didn't have much rain this year, we did see some corn rootworm damage. You can see on the root that Nolan's holding, that bottom left root that's in between his fingers has some damage. You can tell because it's brown and not as white as it should be. One way to check for corn rootworm in your fields is to take a 5-gallon bucket full of water and dig up a root to one of your corn plants and put the dirt and everything and shake off the dirt root, and then the corn rootworms will float to the top. You can see on the second picture I circled an example of what a corn rootworm looks like. Fun fact about corn rootworms is that when fireflies are flying in the air, that usually means that the corn rootworms are hatching, so that would be the good time to start to be on the lookout for them. Luckily, about 4 days later on June 28th, we caught a 2-inch rain that really helped flush all the rootworms down into their holes. We really were blessed this year, and whenever the crop seemed like it was gonna fall over and die, God sent us another rain to just keep the crop alive. The signs were put up on July 2nd, just in time for 4th of July traffic. I just wanted to shout out an extra special thank you to my mom for, well, A, helping with these signs and just helping me with everything else in my life. The soybeans were also sprayed with fungicide on July 2nd. This year we sprayed Delero fungicide. A fungicide helps kill and prevent fungus and fungi from growing on the plants. It also helps reduce stress, which helps keep the plant alive longer, allowing it more time to put on, well, the end goal of pods or kernels. P.S. Look how much greener the grass looks in this drone shot than the last time I had the drone up. Those rains we caught really helped green everything up. July 12th is when the fungicide got sprayed on the corn. Veltima is what we sprayed on this pass, and Veltima is supposed to be sprayed from 50 to 60 inches tall. Well, this corn got a little tall because it's the last field that we got to. One thing we also noticed while spraying this field is that the golden harvest numbers were a lot taller than everything else. One thing that's interesting on the corn is when it tassels compared to its relative maturity. For example, here we have a 104-day Pioneer tasseling before a 100-day DeKalb that's also in the same field. I just wanted to point out the root system on the Stein 19EA32. So these are in order from south to north of one plant of each hybrid, and for point of reference, the shortest hybrid is 8'7" and the tallest is 10'4". And in this picture we have the same variety of soybean hybrids underneath the prospective corn hybrids. So here we have all of the corn root hybrids outlaid next to each other to give you a reference of the size difference between them. One thing that was really surprising to me is how big and how good the Wiffles corn hybrid root systems looked compared to all the others, even though they were only a double pro, and we were dealing with the corn rootworm this year like I told you about earlier. Now here again we have the same thing except for with the soybean hybrids, so you can compare them side by side to each other. And again, feel free to pause the video if you want to take a closer look at anything during this segment, or any time in the video actually. This is the yield check portion of the video. So what I did is I took 3 random ears from each hybrid and scanned them in the Pioneer app. So I kept the population to straight 28,000 and put the test weight at 90,000 kernels per bushel. The DeKalb 5665 was 18 by 34, 18 by 34, and 18 by 35, and with an average yield of 214.4. The DeKalb 5981, the ears were 18 by 28, 20 by 30, and 20 by 34, for an average of 174.3 bushels per acre. Wiffles 4246 the ears were at 20 by 35, 18 by 31, and 18 by 32 for an average of 195 bushels per acre. The Wiffles 5086 were at 16 by 32, 18 by 36, and 18 by 32 for an average of 196.7 bushels per acre. Golden Harvest G03 B96, the ears were at 16 by 34, 18 by 34, and 18 by 37 for an average of 199.3 bushels per acre. G07 G73, the ears were at 14 by 27, 14 by 43, and 18 by 33 for an average of 176.7 bushels per acre. Channel 203-83 STX was at 18 by 35, 16 by 35, and 18 by 31 for an average of 193.2 bushels per acre. Channel 205-70 Tricepta was at 16 by 43, 12 by 46, and 14 by 25 for an average of 185.6 bushels per acre. Pioneer P022OQ was at 12 by 37, 16 by 40 kernels, and 16 by 35 kernels for an average of 180.5 bushels per acre. And the Pioneer P0404Q was at 16 by 35 kernels, 18 by 43 kernels, and 18 by 42 kernels for an average of 216.1 bushels per acre. Since beans are so hard to estimate a yield on, what I did is I pulled 2 plants from every hybrid and then counted the number of pods each plant set and set it next to a dollar bill to give you an idea of how many pods each plant had. This is the Asgrow 25XF1, and between 2 plants they set 65 pods. AG21XFO set 86 pods. Channel 2521RXF set 88 pods. Channel 2321RXF set 81 pods between 2 plants. Golden Harvest 2329X set 94 pods. Golden Harvest 2041X set 74 pods between 2 plants. The Pioneer 26T57E set 160 pods between 2 plants. P22T18E set 122 pods between 2 plants. Stein 24EA32 set 95 pods between 2 plants. And last but not least, Stein 19EA32 set 106 pods between 2 plants. One thing that's interesting about this video is it shows some of the different lodging between some of the beans. We did get some wind, I don't remember what day it was, but that really did lodge some hybrids more than others. Both of the channel numbers definitely won for standing up the best in the wind. I just want to conclude this video by saying thank you so much to everyone who was able to make this possible. I really enjoyed doing this project, and I have learned so much, both financially and agronomy wise, and just talking to people. It's been such a great experience for me, and this will be my last year doing this. I am gonna be going to college next year. I don't know where yet, but I just want to say again, thank you so much for making this possible, and I can't wait to harvest it.